IKEA want you to believe that you only need 15 different tools to install an IKEA kitchen, and I can tell you that after installing 340 kitchens myself, I would probably still be working on number 7 if I haven't upgraded that list. In this video, I will show you how you can add a few tools to make the installation not only go faster, but also create a better result. So let's get started. This is the list from IKEA with 15 tools you need for installing your IKEA kitchen, according to IKEA. Well, there's actually 16 tools on the list, but the 16th, that one you don't need. I can guarantee you that already. But what I will do is I will go through this list with you, and I will tell you what I think about it, and then I will suggest some upgrades that you can do to this list. There's a few upgrades, but there's also a few add-ons, because there's something IKEA simply forgot to put in this list. The first one on the list is a flat screwdriver. And yes, we need one of those. The flat screwdriver is used for when we lug in the cabinets on the suspension rail, and you can also use it when you're assembling the cabinets. I use one of those, and this one has 6 different bits in there, and it changes automatically when you swip, when you flip the switch. This one has Robertson, Phillips, and flat. So we are covered. 2 of those we need. We need the flat one, and we need the Phillips. Actually, we don't need the Phillips. What we do need, because they have the Phillips screwdriver on the list too. But I find that strange, because all the screws in an IKEA installation, if they're not flat, they are not Phillips, they are posi drive too. And I don't understand why, who makes this list at IKEA don't know what screws they actually put in the small bags you use for installing the kitchen. So you need a posi drive 2 bit, and of course you need something to drive this one. It's not hand driven, which is why I suggest also that you get a battery operated screwdriver. Much better than a hand screwdriver. I know IKEA has on the list an electric screwdriver and drill. This one has a cord, the one from IKEA, but nobody uses that anymore. So a good battery operated screwdriver, that's an upgrade, absolutely, I recommend. Otherwise you will be standing there putting in screws forever. You'll never finish if you don't have a battery operated screwdriver. And while we at it, I also have a bigger one, because I have one for drilling holes. They say, as I mentioned, that you need an electric screwdriver / drill. I don't advise you to share that function for 2 tools. If you must, yes, go ahead and do that, and you can take out your drill every time and put in the bit for screwing. But you're gonna get tired of that, because when you're assembling, when you're tying cabinets together, you're gonna use them at the same time, so there will be a lot of change, and you don't want that. And one is running at high speed, one is running at low speed. So get 2 in 2 different sizes. That's absolutely great. Then IKEA suggests that you get an hour. If you have seen the assembly instructions from IKEA when you put panels on and you tie the cabinets together, they say use an hour to poke a little hole into the side of the cabinet for when you're putting in the screw. And yes, that is possible, but you will run out of steam before the end of the day, because you need really to punch really hard to get through the surface of those cabinets. What you want to do instead is, we're back to the drill. You want to get a drill bit like this one. This is a drill bit, and it's about 2 millimeter, whatever that equals in imperial. Not a lot. It's a lot. It's smaller than 1/8, 2/3 of an eighth, and then it has a counter sink feature. And then when you drill a hole into the side of the cabinet to put a screw into the cabinet, into the panel, or into the next adjacent cabinet, this is what you need. With this one, you'll run out of steam before the end of the day, so get one of those. Next one, a pencil. I don't even have a pencil here, but yes, you need a pencil. Excellent. Then on the IKEA list, rubber hammer. I got one of those, and this is the best rubber hammer I ever owned. I had one before that was, smaller, and it was hard nylon, but this is actually rubber, and that's what you need. Just make sure that it's non-marking, because you can get some that is black that will leave a mark on your cabinets. You don't want those. Get the white one, or at least it has to be a non-marking mallet. So make sure, don't go to your outdoor store and get one you use for your tent spikes. Spikes? Those that goes into the ground. You don't want that. Then they say you need a hammer, and yes, that's true. You just need a small one, because you only use the hammer for when you're putting in nails for the back of the cabinet, when you're assembling cabinets. Now, IKEA say you need a spirit level, and I got one right here. This one is 2 feet long, and they say you need this one for when you hang the suspension rails, but it's not enough. You will be standing there with your 2 feet level for a full week until everything is lined up. And today you can get laser levels that are fairly inexpensive. You don't need to buy the expensive stuff. So find a laser level of a fairly good quality that can put a line up on your wall, and get that together with the spirit level, because you will still need this one, but you really need the laser level when you're hanging the suspension rails. And IKEA, I know they have one at the store in this length, not the blue one like this, because this is actually a fairly good one. But the thing is with short spirit levels, that the shorter, the more the accuracy suffer. And you can imagine that if, let's say that this is resting here and this is resting on something that is a tiny bit higher, it makes it different if it's resting on something that's a tiny bit higher, 7 feet out or 1 foot out, right? So the accuracy, the longer it is, the more accurate it is actually. So don't go with one of those. You can use this if you just want to know you're getting close to horizontal, if your eyesight that day is not really well. But a 2 feet one, great. 4 feet, also good. Even longer if you can have it in your vehicle, or if you have one at home. But you need that laser. So don't go with the spirit level only. Now, next on the list from IKEA is a measuring tape. Yeah, we need that one. Next on the list, IKEA say you need a tri-square, and then they show one of these, and yeah, this is great if you're doing fine mechanics. What I think is much better when you're doing a kitchen installation is a carpenter square like this. It's much more solid, and as you can see, this is 12 by 12, so it's more precise than using this one that is only 6 inches on the short end, right? So the bigger, the better. And you use that for assembling some of the cabinets, but you also use it if you want to check if your corner is perpendicular. So get one of those, not the small one. And then they say you need a clamp. No, they say plural clamps, but they only show one. And yes, I agree. Let's get that out of the way. We need clamps, and you need good clamps with a lot of clamping force. And you need minimum 2. I have 6 clamps, and I don't use them all at the same time. I got various lengths, but I sometimes use 4 at the time if I'm doing an island. So minimum 2, 4 is better. Then IKEA say that you need a fine tooth handsaw. And it is because it looks like this. They say you need that for cutting the panels, because if you open the instruction that comes with the panels, they say use one of those. And yeah, it is true. It is possible. And I did that when I started installing kitchens, because I'm fairly good with a handsaw. I've been using a handsaw my whole life, and my life is long. So that's a lot of practical experience with a handsaw, but it is not easy. So either you need to practice a lot, or you need to skip that step, or you need it for the toe kicks, but skip that for the panels, and get a power tool. It could either be a circular saw, which they also say you need. So we're getting there, but handsaw, not for panels. Don't use that for panels. Then in the plan here, they have a hole cutter for making a hole for the faucet if you have a steel sink. I think that out of 340 kitchens, I have done that exactly 0 times. So what are the chances you will face that task in your kitchen? I don't think it's very big, but if you need to do that, then that's the tool you need to go get. IKEA, I don't think they sell it at IKEA. Then IKEA said you need a miter box and saw, and yes, you could get one of those. I find those to be not very accurate, and it's fine if you do trim around the door where you put a lot of, putty in, and then you paint it. But if you do something like the valance, you need it to be fairly accurate and look great, because we don't put putty in the valance when there is a little crack. We need to cut accurately. So I don't think a miter box and a saw is accurate enough. What I do, I use my table saw. I shift the blade down, and then I use a guide for cutting. I think that's much better for that. So maybe if you have a lot of valance, and a lot of fine work like that in your kitchen, maybe rent a miter saw or buy a cheap one. That's the two options I would go with. And then they say you need a jigsaw, and you only need the jigsaw, in my opinion, if you are installing your own sink in a countertop. If you're having quartz or granite or any other of those stone materials, you don't install your own sink. The countertop company will do that, and they will glue it in most of the time from down under. Not from Australia, but from under. So, and then they say you need a circular saw, and that's great because you can use that for cutting those panels. But I suggest that you also get a rib guide. And the rib guide is a tool you can put on your circular saw. So when you are cutting, you can get a parallel cut along the edge of your panel. Next on the list is the electric screwdriver and drill, and we've been over this already, that I suggest you buy a set. You can get a set where you got a small compact and a small drill for fairly cheap money. So I think that's money well spent. So that is my suggested upgrades to the IKEA list. The IKEA list by itself is not enough. See, there's a few things I don't see on the list, and one of them is a utility knife. You want a utility knife for open all those plastic bags, really, because if you just rip them up with your fingers, you're gonna get tired of that. And then a stud finder. IKEA do not have a stud finder on the list. I don't know what they expect, that you'll just knock on the wall or use a magnet to find the screws, but get a stud finder and get something like this. This works, and it will make you happy. I guarantee you will find the studs, and you'll know where to put your screws. So that's it. Now you know how you can make a few upgrades to the list from IKEA that will make your installation go a lot faster and much better. Hey, oops, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we forgot an important thing, and that's the hacksaw. We cannot install an IKEA kitchen without a hacksaw. We need something to cut those suspension rails. So be sure to get a hacksaw as well. So instead of getting one of those more expensive one, I can recommend that you can get one that has built-in batteries. And in this case, this one has not only built-in batteries, but also replaceable batteries. You can take out the battery and you can charge it. And in this particular situation, it actually comes with extra batteries. Let's just check inside this suitcase. Yeah, sure enough, this one has an extra battery. So you're not stuck if it runs out of battery while you're working with it, but you can put in the fully charged battery, and when it's empty, take it out and put in another one that has been charged in the meantime. So this one is a Dovo, and I actually like this one because it comes in a, if I only know how to put it back, it comes with a case full of accessories. Apart from an extra battery, it comes with a charger, and it can actually be charged while it is being used as well. It also comes with a target that you can use, that this one will beep if you, when you adjust the height, so you can see that you are at the right height at a long distance. That is primarily for outdoor use, but it comes with a whole bunch of accessories. This one I don't have for my DeWalt, and this is really great because when you use this one and you put it up on either your pole or you put it on your tripod, then you can rotate your laser level, and that means if you have a vertical line and you want to move it a little bit sideways, you can use this one. So I can encourage you to check it out. I will leave a link in the description that if you want to get one that is at a better price point than the DeWalt, then look at this one. They're both green, and I can recommend that you get one with a green laser light, not the red one, but a green one, because it's easier to see at daylight. This one also comes with a remote, so you can turn it on and off from a distance if you want to save on the batteries. So check this out. As I mentioned, there will be a link in the description. Laser level. Get one. The sooner the better. That's it with my upgrades for the IKEA 15 tool list. Knee pads, super important if you want to have functional knees when you get older, because I'm sitting on my knees a lot when I'm installing drawers and when I'm putting on the legs on the cabinets, and every time I'm down on the floor. So the first thing I do in the morning is to put on my knee pads, and these ones are great. I have had a lot of different ones over the years. Some you can stuff into your pants, others that you tie around your leg like these, but these are really great because they stay in place all day long, and they are not irritating at all to wear. On a warm day, of course, you get warm behind this thick padding, but it's a small price to pay to keep your knees operational. For protecting my hearing, whatever is left of it, I use a pair of these. These are the 3M. They're called work tunes because they have Bluetooth reception, so I can listen to music while I'm working. I use these when I am cutting with my oscillating tool, and when I'm cutting with either my track saw or my table saw, because that is very noisy activities. Safety glasses. I don't use these throughout the day, but I use them when I'm cutting with the oscillating tool, because the chips can go in any direction, but especially when I'm cutting the rail, if the rail is sitting up on the wall and I'm cutting with a blade for cutting metal, I put these on because of course I don't want those hot metal chips in my eyes, but I don't want them on my lenses as well, because they will melt into my lens and ruin my glasses. So I use these, and these are great because I can put them on top of my regular glasses. So highly recommendable. And then last but not least, I have a dust mask, which I use when I use my table saw for cutting MDF in particular, because that is some nasty dust. And that's it. Safety first. I don't work with gloves because I simply cannot. I know a lot of people who are installing kitchens and whatnot, they have work gloves on, but it doesn't work for me. So that's a no.